Oh, hello. Hey. He opened the bathroom to the bathroom where he trapped Kurose and found her exactly where he left her. She didn't react to him in the slightest, despite his careful scrutiny. She just stood there, staring at the floor. His earlier impression held up. She was a strikingly beautiful woman. Plus, her chest was big, huge. Bountiful bosom looked. That bountiful bosom looked fit to burst out of her knit with sweat. This guy. Almost timidly, he reached out his left hand towards her chest. His hand was met by a soft springiness. He felt the firm response of her bra through her sweater. He squeezed a bit harder, but no matter how hard he squeezed, she just stayed as she was, staring at the floor. There wasn't the slightest change in her expression. Yusuke let out a breath he'd been holding in and removed his hand. Oh my god. He locked the apartment door. Now he wouldn't have to worry about being interrupted. Oh boy, what is he planning to do? And I'm pretty sure I know what he's planning to do. I want to see where it leads anyway. So, he didn't actually do anything that bad. He didn't get carried away. He was actually checking her body to see if she got bitten or not, and all that. Her full name was Tokiko Kurose. She was 23 years old. In April of this year, she started working at a medium-sized manufacturing plant. She was a new employee. Her company ID showed a photo of Kurose in a suit, looking unsmilingly at the camera, wearing glasses. She was in sales, huh? It was hard on you, Tokiko-chan. Yusuke assumed it was giving her docile appearance. Whenever she said hi to him, she always sounded so downcast. So Yusuke didn't think she was cut out to be a salesperson. So she lived alone, huh? Both her parents were still alive, and she had a sister. Wonder if she was as cute as you. After reading through her personal documents from start to finish, he booted up her laptop. He logged in and was met by a kitten wallpaper. It seemed like she only pre-installed applications. It seems she only had pre-installed applications on her desktop. She clicked on the browser icon and looked through her history. The last thing she looked at had been quite a while ago. Just one of your everyday web portals. As he looked through her bookmarks one by one, he came across a sexual harassment consultation office and blinked. What's this now? He clicked on the link. Looks like it's connected to the Ministry of Justice. Were you being sexually harassed? How terrible. Next he looked through her recently used files. The topmost file was a text file titled Record. He opened it. Inside was a minutely detailed list of the ways Kurose had been harassed at work. Each entry recorded alongside a date. Men touching her legs in a taxi and pressing themselves into her from behind, when she lined up to use maybe forcing her to go a little too far to entertain clients. Kurose had fastidiously recorded it all. This is awful. These guys were supposed to be looking out for her, huh? Yusuke could see all those dirty old men drunk off their asses. Or butts. Must have been harsh, getting stuck with coworkers like these. Or damn that. He scrolled it down until he reached the end of the record. She recorded only the facts. The account was almost entirely devoid of emotion and complaining. Kurose seemed like she'd been a very diligent person. Even though she didn't keep it in an online journal, she still kept it in a text file. It was a clumsy way of looking for someone to save her. That was the impression that came to mind after reading through it. Done with reading, Yusuke closed the file. And now, here you are. Yeah, I'm kind of confused. How was she infected? It didn't seem like she was bitten anywhere. Wait, let me double check through the... And now here we are. So yeah, I would confirm that. They didn't describe anything about having bite marks on her body while he was checking out for them. Now, here you are. I wonder if they just took advantage of you because of how docile you were, Tokiko-chan. It didn't seem like she talked to her boss about it. But from what he could tell from her notes, it hadn't been any results. So you took it upon yourself to record all the sexual harassment. Well, you don't have to go to work at that place ever again. Isn't that great, Tokiko-chan? Doesn't seem like what I wanted is here though. Private diary of her last few days. There didn't seem to be anything else of interest in her bookmarks either. He opened up her email client as well, but it didn't look like she used it much. I found a notebook in the bag. There was nothing written in it either, other than a few dates, names, and phone numbers. It appeared she used it for work. In the end, it didn't offer up any new information about her. She had a simple pink cell phone, which he turned on and started looking for her. There wasn't any important information there either. The last message she'd sent was something trivial to her sister about 10 days ago. Checking the message she received, he found some family members checking in to see if she was safe. Those had stopped 5 days ago. There was another cell phone which seemed like it was for work. It was mostly filled with business-related messages. Neither of those two was getting any reception. Yusuke recalled that his phone had no reception either and concluded that the network had been down. You only have messages from your family, huh? Guess you didn't have any friends. Yusuke didn't have anyone he could call a friend either. He stayed cooped up in his apartment and avoided contact with everyone. His parents were no longer alive, and his last relative, his grandmother, had died in a traffic accident 2 years ago. He tidied up the room, mulling over the information he gathered. Kurose lived here alone, so staying here for a while shouldn't be a problem. Her family wouldn't be able to come here either, amidst all the chaos. If she'd had any close acquaintances, perhaps they would have come to check up on her, but it didn't seem like she'd had any. Well, they'd probably be eaten by a zombie if they tried. The zombies who attacked the mother and daughter had been pretty fast. They really weren't any slower than normal people. They were a little unsteady, but they charged like a wild boar. And in spite of that, you couldn't take them down without resorting to destroying their heads. They were quite the troublesome enemy. What's more, they were everywhere. Yusuke didn't think there'd be any problem with just enjoying himself for a little while. For now. Well, I can't believe it. This guy just started having just having he slept with a goddamn zombie. Yep, you heard it right. Remembering the mother and daughter had said about shelter, Yusuke had consulted a map and quickly located the place. It actually wasn't too far away from the apartment building. Yusuke climbed off his bike and, having arrived at the front of the gate of the elementary school, he looked up at the school building and sighed. Some Gakko Gurashi vibes here. This looks pointless. There are already zombies shabbling around the schoolyard. However, he had to make sure, so he hid inside. He tried searching for the first floor, but found no signs of survivors. In one classroom, other desks and chairs had been moved to the side. Cardboard and blankets have been spread over the floor, and personal belongings were strewn about the room. Clearly, survivors have been here at some point, but now there are only zombies. They ran the gamut of age and gender. Most likely, they were evacuees. Dry red stains were scattered around the classroom. Their broken windows bore mute testimony to the chaos that descended upon the shelter. If there had been at least one pretty girl, this trip might have been worthwhile. Man, this guy is a complete pervert or a big asshole. About half the zombies he passed in the corridor were severely injured, with several even missing their limbs. Rather than those infected in the beginning, the virus spread through the zombies' attacks. So it was a foregone conclusion that these people would be injured. In addition, after they've been zombies, they have attacked other people, potentially gaining further injuries. It made sense that there wouldn't be too many zombies in perfect condition. As he walked around, he began to grow accustomed to the gross stick ones. They posed no threat to him, so he was perfectly relaxed. Now that's more like it. He found a girl who looked around the age of a college student. Her neck was broken, her head was wobbling as she tottered forward. Since the opportunity was there, he stuck his hand inside her shirt and fondled her chest. Her hair was dyed and she wore it in a bob cut. She had a nice chest, but her face was average at best. If she'd been a knockout like Kurose, he might have taken her home with him, But he wasn't going to go through all the effort just for a butterface. Broken neck. This guy is getting... This is getting pretty twisted here. Is this Saya no Uta? Now that he took a good look at her, he noticed the bite wounds on her right hand were covered by some sort of thin membrane. Let me see, Saya... No, that's the game right? Yeah, Saya no Uta. Are her wounds healing? On reflection, the zombies did act a great deal like animals. Perhaps some part of them were still alive in some way. Yusuke continued to fondle her breast chest until he would finish this line of thought. Returning to his original objective, Yusuke went back to searching for survivors and made his way to the 3rd floor. Once there, he rifled through a bag of personal effects he found in the classroom. A checkbook and a birth certificate. I get the sentiment, but that was pointless. He tossed them aside. There wasn't much in the way of food or tools. He gratefully took the batteries and flashlight. There was also a walkie-talkie, but he couldn't find its mate. He decided not to worry too much about it, since he would go to the nearby hardware store. Take as many of them as he wanted. He decided to keep an eye out for the other receiver while he looked around. Standing back up, he noticed something strange through the window. There was a huge length of white cloth attached to the building. In the distance, fluttering in the wind. What the hell is that? He leaned out the window and squinted. It was blurry from where he was, but he could just make out the letters SOS. Yeah. He finally arrived at the... Oh, here. SOS. He finally arrived at the parking lot of a huge 3-story supermarket. The makeshift SOS flag hung from the roof. There are survivors here? Still sitting on his bike in the parking lot, Yusuke hesitated. He'd head over to the refugee shelter, the school, because he wanted information. Food wasn't a big problem yet, but he didn't know what was going on in the world after being holed up in his room for so long. To find out more, he wanted to make contact with an organized group, preferably one that was quite large. There was a chance that amidst all the chaos, a small group of people might attack him. Since the pandemic broke out, and if people were running low on food, who knew what they might do? He figured they hadn't noticed his gradual approach on his motorcycle, but maybe they were just watching and waiting. Doesn't matter anyway. I have the zombies on my side. If it came down to it, he figured he could escape by running into a crowd of zombies. Leaving his helmet behind on the bike, he shouldered his messenger bag and headed for the supermarket entrance. It seemed that the first floor was dedicated to foodstuffs, and the second to sundries. Slipping through the gaps between the shambling zombies, he took a good look around. Fresh food radiated a disgusting stench. Vegetables that wilted and started to turn. Fish were left alone, they'd probably be crawling with maggots in days. If I can go around the other nearby stores too, and if I can clean them out. Yusuke figured one person would live for about a year off just rice, canned food, and pre-made meals in the supermarket. If he ventured out a bit further, could have a virtually infinite supply of food. If he was going to stay here for a while, he'd want to avoid the situation deteriorating any further. Come to think of it, I'm gonna be without meat for a while, vegetables too. Not the nutritious of diets. Perhaps there was a group of survivors out there who had already ensured their safety and had set up farms or hunted animals. If there was, he could trade the goods there for food. Obviously, since society had now collapsed, he'd be able to lay in as much stock as he needed. Commerce trader Yusuke Takamura. He thought it had a nice ring to it, but can humanity even rebuild from here? The day might come around where he found a way to deal with the virus, and the zombies could be eradicated. Civilization might not return for 5, maybe even 10 years. And it wasn't clear to him what things would be like until then. Yusuke's ideal situation, however, was that zombies would rule the earth. With the few remaining survivors struggling to get by, humanity would be on the brink of extinction. He always disliked people. Man, this guy is he's pretty twisted. He always disliked people. He didn't feel a pang of regret for his own way of life. But there wasn't a single part of him that wanted to return to the constraints of it. Oh boy. Since zombies didn't appear to decay, unless he did something really excessive, she'd be around for a while. I should pick up a fishing rod later. I reckon I'd be okay with that. It'd be a comfortable, survivalist lifestyle. It didn't seem all that bad, really. Humming to himself, Yusuke made his way to the second floor. Reaching the landing, he found an elderly female zombie sitting on the bench. Instinct made him call out greeting, but of course she didn't respond. Even though the second floor was for sundries. Sundries? How do you pronounce the sundries? Sundries. There wasn't anything particularly different about it. It's just more zombies shambling around. The problem lay in getting to the dirt floor. The fire shutters were down, blocking the stairs. He pressed his ear up against them, trying to find out if something was on the other side, but it was completely silent. He stayed that way for a little while, but nothing happened. He tried yelling. We waited for a couple of minutes, but there was no reply. He tried banging on the shutters and yelling, but again there was no reply. There was a little side door, part of the shutters themselves, but it was locked. Maybe they starved to death? He wasn't going to find out by standing around. Turning to the second floor, he headed towards the elevator he spotted earlier. Power was still on, so the doors opened immediately. Getting in the elevator, he noticed the staff member. Staff only member sticker on the button for the third floor. Pressing the button did nothing. So that's how it is, huh? Since the third floor didn't have anything for sale, there was no reason for customers to take the elevator up there. Pushing for the staff entrance led to the back of the room. The boring grey passage. He continued down the starch contrast from the sales floor. Backstocked furniture dotted the place, still covered in vinyl. Continuing on the way to the back, he discovered 2 more elevators. This one also had a button to go to the basement. quickly press the topmost button. This is the elevator that actually started moving. The elevator arrived at the third floor and the doors opened. In front of the elevator was a pile of desks and chairs, presumably to hinder any intruders. A barricade, huh? Calling it a barricade was being generous. You could easily climb over it. Yusuke assumed it was more for peace of mind than anything else. There were no signs of life in this new passage. Wait. Looking around, he noticed a small map tipped on the wall in front of him. It looked like some employee had drawn on it by hand. It was just a sketch of showing where the office, locker room, storage house, and other facilities are. We glossed over the map and started to check the rooms one by one. There were a few rooms locked, but most were empty. Midway through, however, he came across the security room. The monitors were still on, so you could see what was happening all around the building. There were zombies everywhere. There's a low bay in the basement. Oh, and that's a machine room. Don't see anyone hiding there. Checking the nearby floor map, he identified the freezer room and the storehouse as well. Also of note, there was a single large truck parked in the loading bay. There didn't seem to be any zombies in that area. After confirming that he didn't see anyone on the cameras, Yusuke left the room. So this is the office? Yusuke came to a halt, finally found an area that looked lived in. There were 2 rows of desks in the room, and the walls were plastered with local news and weather reports. Makeshift beds cobbled together from cardboard and sheets lay here and there across the floor. The trash can had been neglected and was overflowed with empty instant noodle cups. Teacups and the kettle had been left out, along with the desks. Looks like they were here for quite a while, and there's no food left either. Did they run out of food and go out foraging in desperation? There was no one around. There didn't seem to be anyone. The room was separated from what looks like a conference room by a wall of glass, but there didn't seem to be anyone here either. The innermost area of the floor housed the manager's office. The room was carpeted, and the screen hid a small area in the back. Suddenly, Yusuke froze. He locked eyes with the little kid that popped out in front of him. For a moment, they stared at each other silently. He looked a bit dirty, but other than that, he was normal, harmless-looking boy with dark hair. Without a word, the kid darted behind the screen. Hey! Yusuke caught out too late. Panicked, he ran after the boy, who was trying to wake up someone asleep on the sofa. It was a teenage girl. It was frayed and losing its shine. Her long dark hair fell from her shoulders. There was also another little kid sleeping next to her. Both of them were sound asleep under a thin blanket. Neither of them seemed to be in a hurry to wake up. The girl in the teens slowly opened her eyes. Still half asleep, she stared blankly at the boy. blankly at the boy. She noticed Yusuke, and the second there, her eyes opened wide. Realizing that she was about to scream, Yusuke raises both his hands above his head. Trying to show he wasn't afraid, he spoke up as gently as he could. Hey there. Sorry for intruding, but I didn't mean you any harm.
はい。
The girl seemed a bit less on edge, but she still sounded a little panicky. Yusuke set his messenger bag on the floor and said, "Would you like something to eat?" He listened to them explain what they had. That explained that they hadn't had anything to eat and drink water for a while. Yusuke had took some food out of his bag. Some mackerel in miso sauce, some teriyaki, some canned tuna. Just a few ready-made meals that seemed like they were high in calories. Yusuke had brought them along, thinking they'd be useful if he had contact about the survivors. With the food spread out in front of them, they all, including the child, who had been asleep, stared in awe. Here! They struggled with the idea that they were just being given food, timidly taking it.
いただきます。
The girl, still cautious of Yusuke, sat down and began to eat. The two boys began to devour the food. They must have been starving. They may have been nervous at first, but now they were concentrating solely on the food. Yusuke realized she had some food stuck in her throat and handed over a bottle of tea, which the girl accepted with a silent nod of thanks. Just when was the last time you ate something?
ずっと寝ていたので、よくわかりません。
Watching the way they were attacking the meals, he set out. Yusuke was inclined to believe her story. After finishing her first can, the girl went to pick up her second but hesitated. The two girls were already well on the way to finishing their second. It seemed she was worried about whether or not they'd have enough to be satisfied. There's still more. When he produced a few more cans from its bag and lined up, the girl relaxed and began her second. Occasionally, the kids would drop some crumbs, which the girl would pick up for them. She seems like a conscientious person watching over the kids, while she herself is starving and trying to eat. Are they siblings or something? The age gap seems pretty big. Yusuke let his thoughts wander. He just watched them eat, as if he were feeding a stray cat. After demolishing a ton of Yusuke's canned food, the three of them finally seemed full and they relaxed. Yusuke tapped on his bag and said, "Are you all done? There's still more left."
はい、大丈夫です。ご飯、ありがとうございました。
Still seated, the girl bowed deeply. Noticing what she was doing, the kids next to her followed suit. She seemed well-mannered. Seeing that the three of them had settled down, Yusuke broached his main question. I only happened to notice it from down the street, but were you the ones who put up the SOS?
いえ、私というか、
She didn't finish her sentence, and whatever Yusuke had to guess, he'd say that at some point there were more people here. Maybe the zombies attacked, then some sort of small-scale siege had taken place.
最初は避難所に向かってたんです。ニュースを聞いてお父さんたちと一緒に。でも途中で襲われて。
Her voice trailed off again, but he could guess the rest.
暴動は収まったんでしょうか？
Right? Wait, does she not know anything? Riots. I guess you could call them riots. What riots?
病気の人たちが暴れ出したって聞いてませんか？ニュースでもやってました。
Her words cut off, and as though she had a sudden realization, she tried to stand up. However, she staggered and her legs gave way. What is it?
テレビ見ないと。どこに行けばいいのかわからなくて。
Ah. You're out of luck. Now the channels are broadcasting. As for the riots, well, as far as I can see, no, the riots haven't settled down. She seems resigned. So, where are the others? There are more of you here, right?
それは。
According to the girl, there had originally been 8 of them. At first, they'd all besieged to the third floor. But as the food ran out, tensions grew. People began to trickle away, wanting to see what was going on outside, and none of them had returned.
私は弟がいたので。
Her 2 little brothers were pretty young. She hadn't been able to risk leaving. Yusuke sat and listened to the whole story. Despite the strange circumstance she found herself in, the girl continued to act rationally. Something about her told Yusuke she was an honor student, and with those refining features, she was beautiful. Yusuke could tell that despite everything she'd been through, she was a go-getter. He wouldn't have been surprised if she'd been on a student council or something. That would have fit her like a glove. After she'd finished, he spoke up. I see, sounds like you've been through a lot. The girl stammered at his earnest reply. It struck him that she probably wanted to ask for his name. I'm Yusuke Takamura. And you are?
ありがとうございます。私は藤野美月です。こっちが弟のマサル。こっちがタカシです。
Nice to meet you all. This guy's a little on guard there. Putting so much ceremony on exchanging names, even given the circumstances, only heightened Yusuke's impression that they've been raised really well. He gave a small bow, and the 2 brothers copied him. A faint smile floated across Mitsuki's face. Their self-introduction over, Mitsuki timidly asked the question.
竹村さんは救助の方ですか？
Yusuke looked like your average guy, and her tone of voice said she thought as much but wanted to make sure. Yusuke shook his head. Just an ordinary passerby.
そうですか。外は安全になったんですか？ しばらくずっと外を見てなくて。
Nope, it's gotten worse. I wouldn't exactly say it's safe. Yusuke was troubled by how he should explain the situation. He had no intention of telling them that the zombies ignored them. Basically, you guys are still stuck in here. Those guys are still hanging around down there.
そうですか。連れて行ってもらうことはできないですか？
You're gonna have a repeat of what happened to the daughter and mother. That's impossible. It's too dangerous to travel as a group. Those guys come in swarms. He was sort of bullshitting, but it was possible things would go down the way he'd said. No one really knew for sure how the zombies worked, after all. However, Mitsuki wasn't about to give up.
弟だけでも安全な場所には。
Absolutely not. I mean, there's nowhere safe anyway. The shelter's been overrun with zombies too. Maybe you took them to the apartment next to his, and they brought food all the time. He could call that getting them somewhere safe, but he didn't really feel like that was his responsibility. Besides, it wasn't just the girl to consider, there were the kids too. Escorting them to safety would be far too much effort. Plus, they weren't likely to have any useful information for him, having been trapped in the room for so long. Even by myself, I barely managed to avoid them long enough to grab some food and escape. I've never make it through with you guys.
そうですか。
Her brothers watched quietly, listening to the conversation. Their expressions hadn't changed, nor did they open their mouths. They're pretty disciplined. No, that's not the right word. Yeah, mannered, well-mannered. They don't complain. I haven't seen them complain said the word of complaint up until now. They've probably been through a lot in the time they've been shut in here. Perhaps their spirits have broken. Seems that Mitsuki had too, to some extent. They had completely run out of food, and yet, still in this very room, he got the sense that they were shutting themselves off from reality as a coping mechanism. The girl seemed bright, but she had probably been crushed under the weight of it all. Oh, but I'll be back for food again, and I'll leave you guys with what I have on me. That should keep you guys going for a while. If I run into any sort of relief effort while I'm aside, I'll tell them about you guys. How's that sound? Then she bowed deeply and said,
本当にありがとうございます。いろいろとわがままを言ってすみませんでした。
It's fine, don't worry. Help's gonna come. Hang in there, okay? Yeah, that's some pretty empty promises there. Help's probably isn't coming, yeah? Yusuke thought to himself as he stared at Mitsuki, who had now raised her head. Early morning the next day, back in his own apartment, Yusuke was thinking about the girl he'd met the other day. While he thrust into Kurose, who was bent over his kitchen table. Mitsuki-chan sure was cute. Oh my god. Pretty decent. Chest too. Beautiful, honest, helpful girl. Probably went through a Catholic school. While Yusuke was lost in thought, he pinned Kurose beneath him, face down against the table and jerking back and forth violently. Oh my god. He washed his hands in the kitchen and took an energy drink out of the fridge and drank it straight from the bottle. He had too much stuff to store in his own place, so he started cramming things into Kurose's. It'd be easy if she were a zombie. That girl had been a zombie. He could have just dragged her along to his apartment and thrown her in the room. It'd be like his own life-size dollhouse. But Mitsuki was alive, so things were not so simple. Getting her out of the supermarket would be a hassle. Could I put her in the suitcase and use the car to get her here? If I chase all the zombies away and force her into my room? Nah, that won't work. He had no idea how many zombies will even show up, and he'd be at a disadvantage trying to protect her. That meant he could get hurt too, or worse. Plus, he'd have to deal with her brothers. It was simply too pragmatic. He could try to turn Mitsuki into a zombie, but simply throwing her into the general direction of a zombie would probably result her in being eaten alive. If he could just get a zombie to nibble on their finger, he could continue thinking along those lines. He continued thinking along those lines, each idea more ridiculous than the last. It troubled him that he was willing to go through so much effort for just one girl. Man, this guy's a madman. Besides, he wanted to have her while she was still human. Honestly, I would prefer older women. The young ones have nice bodies, sure, but the figures aren't all that. Rambling on to himself, Yusuke began preparing his next excursion. The sun still hadn't fully risen on the streets outside. All Yusuke could hear was the cawing of crows. He was headed towards the supermarket in front of the station. It was only a few minutes away from his apartment, so he decided to save on fuel. The first item on his agenda was getting rid of the rotten food. He lined up a shopping basket with a big garbage bag. Set it on the cart. They went and shoveled every last bit of potentially dangerous food he could find into it. The meat and fish are already rotten, huh? The fresh meat alone turned a nasty hue and gave off a vicious stench. Leafy vegetables had wilted, but the root vegetables, like onions and carrots, still seemed to be okay. He decided to leave the bread corner alone for now. But the milk and other assorted dairy products had gone bad. He didn't think there was any harm in ignoring them. Going to the back room, he checked the fridge and was relieved to find that its contents remained unspoiled. I'm gonna be busy here for a while. I'll need to go around the shopping district too. Oh, is that a walk-in freezer? The freezer was a kind used to store processed meat. He opened the stainless steel door and a blast of cold air greeted him. Meat that he assumed was pork hung unrolled. It was all frozen salted. It was probably stay good for a long time, right? It's gonna become the new goal, since the electricity's gonna die at some point. After all that, he got back to work. By the time he's filled up his fifth garbage bin, all the offending items had more or less been removed. Now, what do I do with these? He was worried that the mountain of stuffed garbage bags in front of him. It was meaningless if he just left them here. I'd feed them to the zombies if I could. Yusuke expected there to be a decent number of dead bodies around this area. But thanks to the zombies lurking around, the streets were surprisingly clean. Likely been turned to zombies themselves or completely devoured. Suddenly a light bulb went off into his head. Inside his head. I've got it, I've just gotta find some more survivors. If they're hungry enough, they'll eat the shit. They might even be grateful for it. Yusuke immediately regretted his words. He was talking about using other people as a garbage disposal. That wasn't something a human should ever say. No, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that. This guy is slowly losing his humanity. I'll go and throw it away in the mountain. He was scattered there around the mountainside, while the animals would probably come and eat it. Out there, it wouldn't even matter if the rotten food attracted maggots. You could just find an out-of-the-way place in town and turn it into a dump site. But the smell would turn into a major problem, because there's no telling when any given part of town would make itself useful. There was a small mountain range east of town, so Yusuke finally decided to dump the trash there. I'm gonna need a small truck or something though. He left the supermarket and started looking around when something strange caught his eye. A sparse crowd of people stood around on the train station platform. It appeared to be waiting for the train to take them to work. They were shambling around, so he knew that they were just zombies. But they seemed to have gathered there with a purpose. He looked at his watch. We told him it was just past 8. On the normal day, it would just been rush hour. Were they waiting for the train? No way. He never seen a zombie that had lost his sense of self, or for that matter, any zombie that had been more than just a stand around. Perhaps some of them retained a faint memory of their previous existence and tried to imitate the old day-to-day routine. But in ordinary days, rush hour, there would have been more people than this. I don't get it. Were they waiting? No way. It wasn't something that seemed urgent, but Yusuke figured it would be a good idea to investigate how the zombies behaved at some point. It wasn't like he'd have a lot to do once he got his living situation sorted out. Okay, let's go. After that, he spent the day cleaning up 2 more supermarkets, piling all the garbage bags into a minivan. He had managed to acquire a light truck, so he settled for a minivan, with the keys still in the ignition. After that, he spent the day cleaning up 2 more supermarkets, piling all the garbage bags into a minivan. He hadn't managed to acquire a light truck, so he settled for a minivan, with the keys still in the ignition. The sun had already set. With the road in the horrible state it was in, and the zombies standing around here everywhere, it took Yusuke longer than he expected. Guess I won't be doing anything else today. Putting off throwing away the garbage in the mountains until the next day, he headed back to his apartment. Whoa, scared me. Upon the return to this place, he was met by Kurose. He was still tied up on top of the table. Untying the rope, he led her into the bathroom.